This week's episode is sponsored by Helio Gas Detection.
Hey everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I'm delighted to welcome Machina Kore for the first time to the show, lads, and deeply honoured that all four of you appeared as well in the one window for those that are watching and listening. It's so handy, but yeah, respect and thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Richie. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. I haven't met any of you before, which is unusual, and let's first of all go on about Ghosts of Everest. What a fucking album, lads. It's absolutely brilliant. Such a great boost, I would say, to the Irish metal scene. Something of that quality that just absolutely grabs it by the throat. The production is off the charts, and the playing, everything is fantastic. So congratulations first of all on that.
Thank you so much.
Great to hear. Cheers, Richard.
Yeah, we'll go into it as the interview goes along, but first of all I want to say who's here. It's Mauro, who lead vocals and lead guitar, I suppose, as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean is on bass. Eamon is the newest member.
Yeah.
Was that big? And then Gary, who's also not quite the newbie anymore. I suppose you're quite happy with that, Gary, aren't you? You're not the newest member.
I'm happy with that, yes.
So I just want to kind of really start at the start. I know, Mauro, you were with Senescence and stuff, and you've always been involved with music. Shawnee as well. I know both of your past. I'm not too sure about Eamon and Gary. You can fill that in if you want later. So am I right in saying, Mauro, that the band started or the project started during the pandemic?
Slightly before it.
Okay.
But it wasn't. It came together sort of accidentally. I left Senescence. I had no real intention, suffice to say, of playing again. And then I think there was a few things we'd done back then we tried to do with Senescence, with acoustic stuff. And it didn't really pan out at the time. So afterwards I just went back into the studio to do a solo track, acoustic thing, just to sort of tick a box, and then that was my body of work and whatnot. And it was Lenny here, he came in to help me out on the drums, and another guy, Glenn Harrison, probably best known for being the bass player in Trucker Diablo at the time. We'd have been friendly and we've been sort of exchanging music for a while, and we were writing stuff. So he came in.
And what track was that, Mauro?
It's called Chasing Maybe.
Okay.
Incidentally, it is a bonus track if you buy Everest on Bandcamp. So
nice. Get the plug in early.
He said he's bad at this.
Yeah, well, anyway, it was more to do with sort of Glenn's enthusiasm, and I just rolled with the punches. And as time passed, we got a guitar player and whatnot, and it just came together. It was originally just messing around with covers, mainly Megadeth covers and different things in the studio. Mm-hmm. And from then it kind of just evolved into what we got here now.
Yeah, and I suppose looking at it from the very start, Mauro, it was never going to be a live entity up to a point, I suppose, yeah?
I think it wasn't even considered, and then when we kind of got it together as a four-piece, then that's what we kind of decided we'd strive towards. And then there was a gig actually booked at one stage, and then it fell through. Mm-hmm. And then continuous sort of changes and whatnot, things started to fall apart. So we just decided we'd knuckle down. When the pandemic hit in, there was, that was a prime opportunity to get the stuff together.
Yeah.
And just do something,
It's ironic as well, isn't it, that it was the pandemic that I suppose started a lot of studio projects, home studio projects.
Yeah. So that's actually what got me back into music. So I was playing music previously, stopped, and then during the pandemic I changed the place where I was printing t-shirts and stuff into a music studio with the intention of just like doing some YouTube videos and just getting back into music, because at that stage nobody really knew how long things were going to be locked down or
Yeah.
what the future looked like, kind of. So
Mm.
as that, then that's what sort of reignited my passion for music again. Just
Yeah,
going through
that's
like the
cool,
home
isn't it?
studio kind of thing.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, 'cause so many people had a lot of time on their hands, and you either went two ways: either you fucking binged on Netflix, or you started creating stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I think like we got so much great music out of the pandemic from
Did it
a
start? It also started a load of old bands reforming again, did it not, for a while? No?
well, they were jamming together online, you know.
Yeah.
Aye, that's true, yeah. I did exactly the way we had it done, the Blood and Code EP. It was done remotely.
Oh,
More than
was
anything.
it?
Recording it
Okay,
was
yeah,
bizarre as well.
yeah, that's mad. And Eamon, how did you join the band? Or
Yeah, so I've known this guy for best part of 30 years. I played in bands when I was from 15 right up. First band of sort of any note was a band called Tilted. And th that was kind of where we're from. It was Tilted and Senescence kind of came up kind of
oh,
together.
okay, okay,
But I'd kind of stopped. I was doing some sort of session work here and there, just in the studio that we ended up recording in Einstein studio with Frankie. And but I kind of didn't. It sounds a bit strange, but I was being quite selective in terms of what I wanted to do or what I wanted to play. But as Mauro said, I did the Chase and Maybe stuff, and as just to help him out because I knew that he wanted to have the live drums on there. And then he started to send he started to send me some of the demos and some of the tracks that will ultimately end up on the album, and I was like, these are fucking awesome. And then we came back and we met. We were talking just before we came on here. We met in a shed with this little electronic drum kit, and then like what was in my head trying to play it out. So I was saying to the guys like it must have been an absolute shit show whenever I come in and was trying to fumble through these things before we went into the studio, but something sort of clicked even with just getting on with each other, and so yeah, it was a real kind of, we talked about like things coming back. I sort of then delved into old stuff that I had played or listened to and tried to bring as much of that into what we ended up recording. So
Yeah.
it was so challenging but awesome, just that it was such good crack to get in and start to try and at least make our way through what became the album. It was so yeah, like I said, from I was 15 years of age up to me now, 40 odd years doing it, and knowing because we're from the same place, so everybody kind of knew each other. And again, we were saying we actually like realized that we lived so close to each other and hadn't maybe crossed paths fully.
that's
But
crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it's crazy. But I'd known Morrow through music from like as I said for a long, long time. So it
Yeah.
kind of came back in. I actually
was-
had
Go
yeah.
on, sorry, yeah.
No, I was just going to say I'd done some stuff with the Senescence boys as well about 15 years ago, and again just sort of from knowing Morrow, so it's just very close knit, and it
Yeah.
becomes a very close knit kind of community, I suppose.
That was
Yeah,
so part of
and
it, because
just
Lenny had played on Scar Obscura, one of the albums we put out, I think it was 2006.
Mm.
So we knew my style of playing very well.
mhm.
So he knew what he was coming into to begin with.
Getting yourself in.
So yeah, but we had lost our drummer prior to that, and I just thought, well, I sort of knew he had had a bit of a rough year. I thought it would be beneficial for him too as a distraction along that time. So it just clicked.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
the right time.
And Frankie McClay as well, lads. Jesus Christ. I
Oh,
mean,
don't
yeah.
get started.
what a
Didn't
legend.
start.
Total.
That sound is unreal. And I mean, I know Senescence used them again. There's other bands. You all have probably come across Frankie in different bands also
Yeah.
outside of Machina Kore, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been working with him for 25 years now.
It was actually
Yeah.
my first experience of doing anything with him.
Was it really, Gary? Why?
Yeah.
Eye opening.
Yeah. So I'd spoke to Glenn, so I know Glenn as well. And I spoke to Glenn before going in, and he had sort of said, Frankie is straight down the middle. If something's shit, he'll tell you it's shit. There's no sugarcoating anything, which I appreciate and I like. He's all
Yeah.
about the song. It's about the song. And again, as you say, the production is unreal. The sounds that he
unreal,
gets, and he adds a lot with his input as well
Yeah.
to
And
to
most
the
likely
song.
tell you it's shit anyway.
Yeah.
But
But the
you gotta
recording
be very
experience,
thick-skinned.
yeah, the recording experience was
you
brilliant.
couldn't ask for any better,
Yeah.
like, for a day's crack. And
Absolute legend. Yeah.
you actually look more forward to going up to have a bit of crack with Frankie than you do recording the tunes. You know, it's just a brilliant experience.
And Morrow, going back to the EP, was a lot of that self-produced and then brought into Frankie, or did you just go straight to Frankie with that?
The Blood and Code one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes and no. It was done in a strange way. The drums were done somewhere, I don't know, somewhere up in Antrim anyway, by the drummer. He sent them through, and then Frankie did a bit of work on them, and then I had to go up. But because of Frankie was in a bit of ill health at the time, so the whole thing was done in separate rooms.
Wow.
Well, so someone was recording bass, I was 2 rooms down, but there's windows through the studio, so you can see each other. All the communication was done through mics and stuff. EP probably wasn't ready to go, but it was just COVID, and what do you do? So we did it then. So you'll see on the album, I revisited one of the songs.
Yeah.
I finished it out properly.
Was a footprint in a dead mask, yeah?
Yeah.
No, Death Mask, reduced took the intro out and added some solos and whatnot.
Yeah,
So.
great call, actually. It's one of my favorite tracks on the album. So, and what about the reception then, Morrow, for the EP? Were you happy with that in amongst the Irish scene in general?
It wasn't something we were pushing a big lot.
Okay.
I think at the time we just didn't really know where we were at. We were glad to get it out, but we weren't really pushing behind it. At that time, we wanted to get out on and just play a few gigs.
Okay.
And then turns out that wasn't gonna happen. So
Yeah.
we just went back to the drawing board for a while, and then once again it just sort of all fell into place.
The EP was very much do you know what? Let's get the first part of this out of the road here, a new band forming together. Let's get a couple of tunes together and get out gigging.
Yeah.
As Mauro explained earlier on, the first gig we had booked fell through. And then shortly after that, we lost the guitar player that was with us at the time. And then me and Mauro just said to each other, look, let's just go full hog into an album here and,
Okay.
get the long road part out of the road,
What do you
It's been out a
see?
wee bit longer than we expected. But
Yeah, I do see Blood and Code as sort of like it was more prep work.
yes.
So
100%, yeah. I actually thought when that came out, you were going to release another EP off the back of that, I was surprised when I did see the album come out.
Shawnee was at me to make an album, and I was like, it's too much work, man, and
Yeah.
he wouldn't take no for an album. Have to do it, have to do an album. So it would have been out a lot earlier. There's a few hurdles we had to get across, but all in all, I'm glad we did it the way we did it and the length of time we took at it as well. It was easier to fit into busy lives, and
Yeah, that's another side of it, isn't it, lads?
It was only every 2 or 3 days I was on about an album. He was all EP. So I think the text messages got reduced to I was just texting him album and he was texting me back EP.
Yeah. So economically wise, Shawnee, is it better to go album in the end, or what? What's your opinion on it?
I think maybe where I was coming from and it was I've been out of the game for so long.
Okay.
And the band that I was in years ago, we only done 2 EPs. So I'd never actually done an album. So it was probably a wee bit of a selfish sort of thing on my part that, I think an album tells a fuller story than an EP
Correct.
does. And that's what I was after from the get-go is a complete body of work. Just, that's what I wanted.
it became clear as we were sort of making this that it wasn't going to work in a shorter format.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It made sense when we stopped at the 10 songs, but man, before that, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it then. Like even the title "Ghosts of Everest" it's a kind of bold title, really. Like Morrow, like what does it represent to you as a band? The title.
I would say that it's sort of a concept album, and the idea that the sort of Ghosts of Everest, it's about sort of getting to a point in your life where you look behind you, because your whole life up until the point is just climbing. You're trying to climb that ladder, you're trying to
Very good.
get to whatever it is with success or whatever. you might call that. And it's that point where you look back. That's where the album is more of a look inside, like an introspective
Okay.
thing. So yeah, that's where it's about all the regret and the guilt and the emotions and the baggage that you pick up along the way. And then it gets to a certain point is what do you do? It's weighing you down, and that's where the title comes from.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
it's like a metaphor as well, because through life, through the journey through life that everybody takes, some people make it to the top of Everest and back down again. And as we see in the bodies that are left there, some people don't make it
yeah.
and are left there. So I think for me personally, that's the kind of thing, that's what I get out of the title of the album and the journey in life that everybody takes it.
Yeah, I picked up on that for sure as the album progressed, you know. But was there any particular songs, Morrow, was there a turning point when you realised this album needed to dig deeper emotionally? You know, because you said yourself when you kind of looked at it as an EP, there was other songs there that you couldn't actually put it in an EP, it had to be an album.
Yeah, because you kind of get midway through it, and there's a song on it called Goliath, and that's kind of the turning point, and it's where
Okay.
the penny drops in the narrative.
Okay.
And from there on in, you can kind of nearly sense it on the album. You reach that point, and it kind of takes a shift. Right up till Everest. Everest is your conclusion.
Yeah.
Breathe is sort of a story leading into Everest as well. But I think Goliath being the midpoint is where it turns, and you kind of have to carry it through from there to continue the narrative, like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the difference. Obviously, you couldn't have done that with an EP. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the opening track, Silver. We'll have a quick listen. I just picked out of all the 10 tracks, you know, we listened to, I just picked certain segments that I particularly enjoyed. So it might be interesting for you to find out where I picked, you know, but Silver is probably obvious anyway, but we'll have a listen to it anyway.
Race me, God, speed before the sun dies over those mountains. Race me, God, speed before the sun dies over those mountains. Race me, God, speed before the sun dies over those mountains. Race me, God, speed before the sun dies over those mountains.
Yeah, I think, you know, with a track like Silver, it sets it up emotionally and sonically for the next track, really, doesn't it? Stoned for well.
That was the intention, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe a lot of metal bands would choose to put that song on their album, like, let alone start with it. But
Well, I would say there, Morrow, that like I'm a big Opiate fan, and that to me, and the way it's set up, the synths, your voice, acoustically wise, that Opiate do that so well, and that's beautiful. It's beautiful start to that album for Opiate fans anyway, like me.
Yeah, we sort of suspected the album would maybe divide a lot of opinion, and we were good with that, you know. But
That's interesting.
it is more of an emotional take on things, and you know, aggressive, I suppose. But it's all there. Yeah.
Yeah. The sharp serrated silver tongue. What's that?
The song in its whole is kind of about you've a set amount of time to achieve, you know, whatever it is you got to achieve. So if you've got all this baggage, like we were talking about the title, it gets get busy living or get busy dying is this kind of thing, and it's an internal dialogue.
Okay, cool. Okay, as I said, great opener, and now on to one of my favorite tracks of the album, Stone to Farewell.
Things we love the most are what destroys us. Time necklace on rope, tattoo his hands. Living holds the ghost. Let's breath employ us. The whole pain high and toast. Lest we forget.
Yeah. If I was asked about Machina Kore and what song I would play it to somebody that has never heard the band, I'd certainly play that Stoned for Well.
That's
Probably
cool,
my
yeah.
favorite at the minute.
Yeah, it's really your identity, I think, and it's Jesus, it's just so well wrote, produced, musically wise, and singing wise as well. Maury, your delivery and that's great. It feels like almost a eulogy or a release.
Okay, thanks.
That's what I like about songwriting, Morrow's songwriting. The vocals carry such melody along with it, and it really adds to the song. It's definitely another element rather than just somebody just rapping out words.
Yeah,
It is delivery in the vocals adds real melody to the tunes.
yeah. While listening to that though, Morrow, it's going to be tough to carry that off live. Not that song in particular, but the majority of the songs, as a guitarist and also a singer as well, man. I mean, have you tried? You haven't. I know you haven't played live yet, but rehearsal wise, how are you doing vocally
Yeah,
wise?
we wrote that one, funny enough, in the studio.
Yeah, that was reversed, that one. Yeah.
It's not maybe as bad as a lot of the stuff I'd written in the past, to be honest, as far as difficulty levels go.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was kind of aware of that coming into it. I think Lenny could probably vouch for that. It's not, there's not the same time signatures and things, and I did keep it in mind when I was writing a lot of this
Okay.
stuff.
Good. Yeah.
Because the approach would be keep things as simple as possible when you get
Yeah.
out there. Although there are a lot of dual guitars and harmonies and different things, but it's all doable, yeah.
I think
What
the
does-
thing about well, all the tracks, but definitely the thing about that track, that was the first track that I had heard at the very beginning before we went into the studio and we were getting the structure of the song. And because of the other stuff that I'd done with Morrow in the past, I knew that there would be time signatures, tempo changes, and all that good stuff. And from a drumming perspective, like everything that went into that, there's again it filters in across the whole album. There's Tool, there's Sepultura at the start. There's all sorts of influences that pull in, but it's not simple for the sake of being simple or complicated for the sake of being complicated. Everything kind of just flows in all of the songs. So nothing stands out as like, oh, it catches your ear because it like feels like it's been like pushed in just for the sake of being there. So and funny, we were saying this before we came on. The flow of the album's awesome because the songs and the thought that went into the songs and the playing, some of it's technical, but it warrants that. So it's not being overplayed for the sake of being overplayed or underplayed that way. I think the every part has a real foundation in the song, and that's the sum of its parts. I just think they're really well written songs.
Yeah, I agree, Lenny, and I think as well, because all of you have such great experience, you're not falling into the traps of younger musicians that would make those mistakes in their debut album. Would that be fair enough to say?
Yeah, but also I think possibly maybe the length of time spent writing and recording the album sort of added to that as well. Where, if you're trying to squeeze something into 6 or 8 months, maybe you make some mistakes that you regret later on, but some of the tunes had a wee bit of time to breathe, maybe properly, and, edge off places here and there. And
Yeah, but we're able to revisit different things and
Yeah.
hear them even closer to the end, going back to some of the earlier songs.
Yeah.
And that was pretty beneficial.
Did you discover that through rehearsals, lads, playing live together, or what?
In some cases, but a lot of cases, we were able to live with the songs because we were recording them sort of one at a time.
Okay.
So you had a bit of time in between them.
Okay.
So you could go back and maybe rewrite sections, and we had that kind of freedom.
Okay.
It was a first really for us, but it worked well.
And shout out to Frankie in that
Yeah, I
tune
was
as
gonna
well,
say.
because the whole drop down part in that tune, there's a wee bit of Frankie's mastery going on there.
Nice.
He rejigged it slightly and stuff, and he just come out the other side of it. Remember hearing it for the first time when we went
Yeah.
back in when he sent the mix. Just awesome what he done with it.
And that's the beauty of having to your point around being a bit longer in the tooth, not to fall into traps. Frankie wouldn't allow it because his filter is so like it's just on the money. So like the amount of times if you're playing something and I go in thinking of Mike Portnoy, he'll just stop and go, "What the fuck was that?" And you're like, "Yeah, fair enough." So you get the ego check and you go play this. but in terms of, I think there was a freedom because like you'd come in and Frankie would be, he's just playing something over a part of the song and you go, and it's synth or it's like noise-scapey things, and like maybe other sort of like, you know, metal bands might try and veer away from that. And we're like, it sounds awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Keep that on or do this and we'll lean into it. So yeah, Frankie was he's the secret sauce on a lot of those things. So
Nice.
And as Danny saying there, I think we wanted the album to basically, we leave nothing behind so that we're not penning ourselves into like a thrash album or a pure heavy album. We wanted to include the likes of Silver. We wanted to include the likes of Sober, some synth parts. We wanted to include it all so that there'll be no surprises, so that this is our album, and then in the future going forward, we can really do whatever we want, and people will not be going, oh, here, that's not the same as the first. We wanted to have that freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Track 3, Making a Monster, another personal favorite.
If this is education, learning to unlearn love, but make a point, it'll match the misery. Dream annihilation, negative thought above, any concept of aggressive wizardry. This is education, learning to unlearn love, but make a point, it'll match the misery. Dream annihilation, negative thought above, any concept of aggressive wizardry. Push me in the corner, for they know not what they do. What a mess I live with teenage Henry. Push me in the corner, for they know not what they do. What a mess I live with teenage Henry. I didn't know what the reality was rolling. They're making a monster, making a monster, making a monster, making a monster.
Yeah, it's a great track, a great single as well. And Morrow, ye remixed that, and maybe just talk about sometimes, you know, bands settling for something and not going revisiting it for a remix.
Yeah, well, it was 2023, I think, when we re-recorded that. So that was 20-year anniversary of the original recording. It was 2003. Frankie had always been pressing at me, you know, we should re-record this song and whatnot. And when it hit the 20th year, we thought, you know, the planets have aligned. Like, it seems like a good time. You know, I know it wasn't coming out under the same band they'd been in previously, but kind of thought, well, with the same drummer, the same lyricist, the same guitarist, you know, it's probably a good time to do it. So it was a bit of a celebration, you know, because it was the first, we put out, in the early days, we put out 2 CDs prior, and when I wrote Monster, it was when everything just seemed to click that with my songwriting. I knew where I was going with it. And that was the first, it was a good success for us over the years too, you know, but that was really when the songwriting had taken a different direction and sort of knew who I was at that point.
Yeah.
It was a very popular tune at the time too. You know, it was, especially at gigs and stuff, the place used to go nuts when that came on.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I can. That's one song now straight away. That's for me. I would love to see this being played. Yeah.
Yeah, it's handy done. We played it a lot over the years, you know, so it was a good one.
And just about the lyrics, if this is education, learning to unlearn love, I'll make a point that will match their misery, dream of annihilation, negative thought above any concept of oppressive wizardry. So maybe without pull a bit of the curtains back there for us, Morrow. Again, is it just self-reflection or is it against the system, or what is that one?
No, it was probably written to begin with from through personal experiences, but they aligned quite well with the idea. I don't know if you remember the documentary, the sort of Bowling for Columbine.
I do, of course. Yeah, Michael Moore, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it sort of morphed into that story.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah.
It was the perspective was through the eyes of the killer.
Yeah.
It'll probably make a bit more sense now. You read it.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, track 4, Those Amongst Us. I'll give this another brilliant track. Yeah. figuring out the lead work, lads, particularly in that track alone, that section that I took out there. What are your memories of it?
That was the first song we recorded from the album. This was, we've done Blood and Code and the whole new approach. We wanted to make things more bottom end, heavier. Took all the guitars down another step because we've been playing everything in C, drop C up to that time. So we brought it down to B. And it was the kind of song we wanted to be the intent for the rest of the album at the time. So it was to be direct, hard hitting. Topically, it's a song about sort of brotherhood and wrapped in a military sort of narrative.
Okay.
You know, the kind of platoon, if you get wounded, who leaves your side? Who, you know, are you abandoned, or when you've nothing left to offer?
Yeah.
Who still sticks with you? So yeah, it's a sort of look at friendship and stuff like that.
And bringing Gary into the equation as a second lead guitarist.
So
You did well. You did well.
That song actually was recorded before I actually joined the band. So
Yeah.
that's
It's a remix. I know that, but I'm just on about you, Gary. Take a bit of credit, please. Take a bit of credit. So modest this time.
They stay on. They stay on.
I don't take compliments well.
He's blushing for anybody that's listening to this on audio.
That's a difficult thing for me to do blushing as well. So
Come on, Morrow, help me out here. Getting Gary into the band as a lead guitarist.
I can't remember how it really all transpired. It was,
So-
it was our previous drummer.
Yeah.
Give him a ring. I had never, Jacko would live pretty much around the corner from me his whole life. Like,
So we've all lived, as Lanny said earlier, we've all lived probably a mile within each other from like growing up, really. And I knew Morrow had played in Senescence. I'm a few years older. And at that stage, I'd stopped playing music with the previous drummer. During lockdown, we had sort of reconnected reconnected with a lot of people. And I knew the single was coming out, Those Among Us was coming out. So I had messaged him through Facebook or something and said, good luck with the tune and can't wait to hear it. And he messaged back and goes, we're actually looking for a second guitar player if you're interested. And yes, at that stage I did say I'm probably not good enough because I hadn't been playing music in a number of years.
Okay.
But he says, no, he absolutely will. So he must have messaged Morrow and Shawnee and said, and those guys were all, so then they sent me the track and then I had a bit of a play with it and then we hooked up in the shed with the electronic drum kit and they had a few plays through. So
well, yeah. I mean, I had always been aware of Jacko and the bands he'd been in up over the years, and I'd suggested him a few times as well. You know, so it seemed like a good mix. We'd lost our previous guitar player a while before that, so that's why the single was done. Basically, you see the video, it's done as a 3-piece.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of time, you know, we were thinking about, you know, we need to feel more like a band here as well. We need a whole lot of us on. So it was a good fit.
Yeah, and looking at kind of going forward now with Gary doing solos and stuff, Morrow, where are we with that?
Well, yeah, he's going to have to take on a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. From a
Yeah,
live
there's
entity
going on
for
'cause
sure.
Yeah, you can hear there's a lot of lead going on, a lot of the choruses and different things. So
Correct.
that'll be more or less his job.
So now,
No pressure.
now that the album's now that the album's complete, I think the next step is starting to figure out, because there is a lot of layers in some of the songs, what's going to be played and who's going to play what and stuff. In terms of the lead guitar, whatever Morrow wants to throw my way, then I'll just try my best to muddle through it. He's a very unique style of playing. He kind of plays guitar like Dave Mustaine, so he has all fingers. So when he sends me a video of what to play, I have to then refigure it out and then transfer it to my style of playing.
Yeah, there is that kind of thing with him, alright,
Yeah.
Mustaine. I actually spotted that myself. Yeah.
So he has all 4 fingers on it, and I'm just going, what's happening here?
All for slow. Intimidation.
Intimidation.
I'd say the key there, Gary, is no beers before the gig.
That's it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, on to track 5, Alpha Luna.
Take these words and build an empire.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of the bass playing and drumming in this album. It gives us such a great platform for the songs, you know.
I was thinking that myself, Richie. Lanny's drumming on this is immense.
It is, and it's emotional as well. It's fucking so clever.
And Shawnee's bass as well, the sound he gets. And the two fuckers are like 1 or 2 takes and they're done. And then they sit back and laugh at me and him with the red light fever.
Professionals, Richie.
Yeah, that's it.
Professionals.
2 takes and they're done. And then he just sits back and laughs. At the rest.
I take my hat off to you, sir. Well done.
Yeah, the playing of both of them is unreal, and the sound is
Do you know,
class.
like I, particularly on this one, I remember just watching Shawnee, and the sound is just insane. But I remember even hearing some of the demos, but actually watching it and listening to it, I lock into the bass. Like it's just my thing. And sometimes I'll follow off with like a vocal thing, but come back and the bass grounds it. But he's such a good player. It makes it so easy to play on it and around it. And I think you could, because again, it's about serving the song. So listening to what he's playing, and like even when we're in the studio, it's like, what do you need in your cans? I'm like, I need the track, but I need the bass up so I can try and follow. So it was an absolute one. And when you hear that and you go, yeah, when the bass player's good, you go, right, this is good. This is going to be exciting to get in and get your teeth into it. So, and some of the playing on that track, particularly at the start, so intricate. It's
fun track.
fucking awesome. Yeah, it's so good, man. So yeah, you did.
You get a bit of breathing room in that track too to
Yes.
to sort of have a bit of fun. Like.
Yeah,
It does, and it, you know, a track like that, like you can hear emotion in the playing, and you know the significance of the title. Then Morrow, Alpha Luna.
Well, probably Shawnee named that. There's a bit of a story behind that song. The point where it's like a part 3. If you see Metallica doing their Unforgiven, the way they did that. Well, I'd done 2 songs in the past. It was a do with my mother, and she's diagnosed with Parkinson's, and it was the progression of that. So this is like the 3rd part. So you'll know by the lyrics, when you look at it there. The chorus actually just came from graffiti on a wall that I'd seen one day, and it just all sort of fit together.
Wow.
So yeah, it's basically a fairly emotional sort of take on. It's the part 3. It's the latter end of sort of that disease and whatnot. So it explores that a bit.
Okay, very good. Okay, Goliath track 6, another favorite. Let's give it a spin. What did I pick out?
Search for a strength within me. Captive in the far side of my eyes. Timid whispers of grown declarations. Fear the tempest within. Rage against the shore and rise. Feel the fast time. Goliath in my eyes, in fast resolve. Mortify, unbroken.
I would send Anthrax to Frankie McClay there and just there you go, lads. This is what you could sound like. So fucking good. And again, like, this is what I like about G. Yeah, and that is an Anthrax moment. I don't care what you can argue against it, but Morrow Dove's tails off then and gives that emotional lift with the vocals, pulling it away from, I suppose, being stereotyped into one section, and
Yeah.
it's a lovely flow again into the next part of the song. Planning a song like that, lads. Do any of you want to take that?
It kind of came together naturally, really. I mean, it was just written in the bedroom, so to speak.
Okay.
Like there was no rehearsal or anything, and it came together pretty well and pretty quickly, believe it or not. Although we'd reached a certain point in it, and we didn't know whether to end the song or where it was going to go. And then Jacko had a few riffs, and he brought that in. That was the end section. But as far as writing it goes, it wasn't. It was a fairly natural thing because I think it was more. It's more this kind of style of music that I've always written. And some of the other stuff takes me a little bit out of my comfort zone, but that was that straightforward sort of
Yeah.
hard hitting thing. And then it was a good chance for Lenny to get his legs moving, prove himself.
And of course, it's in probably a very important part of the album as well. It's more or less the midsection of the album. This is the track to carry you home as such. Like,
Yeah, that was the turning point. Even in the narrative, that was the turning
Yeah.
point. It was instead of being the darker, sort of more emotional topics, this was sort of the turning point where it was about strength, inner strength, a more positive direction. It takes the
yeah,
album, I think.
striving, I'm pushing through hurt, trying to rise in a darkness that hides my worth. Goliath, I'll set you free. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the take on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. On to track number 7, Death Mask. It is my favorite track at the moment, even though it's an old school one, but still, it's fucking
No,
class.
no harm in that. There's no harm in that.
Yeah,
And he
love
likes
it.
it too.
I love it.
Bring in the rhythm section again, lads. How good is that going to be played live? Like, oh my god!
It's one of those ones. Whenever I heard this, and I was listening to a lot of Dream Theater, it just that whole part, the key changes, how the solo flows, and how it builds up to go into that sort of. It just put me in mind of like Black Clouds and Silver Linings from Dream Theater. It's like dark, but then comes. It was epic and such good fun to play because it was in the sweet spot where Goliath nearly kills you at the start. This is kind of that sweet spot where you're playing and you're listening and you're enjoying, as opposed to like gritting your teeth and trying to get through it.
Yeah.
So it was a brilliant track to play. I loved it.
I have to say, like, I'd seen a lot of drummers struggle with this before, and then I think we got a first time, maybe second time.
Wow, holy
It was
shit!
pretty impressive even to see that go down. Like, solo though, I can't take credit for that. That was our previous guitar player who wrote that though. But that was the section that you picked there. That was the part we sort of worked on more than the earlier version of it now.
Yeah, it's class.
Yeah, so it worked well.
Shawnee on bass there. Did you have to do much with this
What and what do you mean?
in relation to the actual, like, maybe following the leads, or did you just Like what way did you approach this
Well,
song?
well, this this was one of the tracks that we had heavily jammed as a band. Like when after the EP, we'd done the EP,
Yeah.
we had with a proper set list and we intended to get out gigging loads and loads. So this was fully dialed in, this tune, like, and it just come about through playing with the drummer we had at the time in the studio. You just find your pocket where you play and where you don't play.
Yeah.
And Lanny, when he came in then on the recording, has added different elements which raised it even more. There's a couple of like lovely wee drum lead-ins to sections and stuff that just, when I heard it in the studio, because we don't hear it till we get
I
to
know,
the
I
studio.
know, I know.
You know what I mean? That's another thing. Like, you know, it's kind of tricky because me and Lanny kind of, you get a demo, so you kind of know what the bass is, but I don't totally know what the drums are going to be. You know, so it's kind of like you go to a studio and you're prepared, you know what your main line is, but you're prepared to go left or right when required, which happened a few times on different tunes. But that's such a fun tune to play. It is my favorite tune to play. That and song coming up later, Breathe, are my two favorite tunes on bass. Like.
And what bass did you bring in? I mean, were you using 2 or 3 basses for recording, or were you just using one?
There's a bit of debate over that.
One bass all the time. And if you ask Frankie what it is, he'd tell you it's a yard brush. Well, Frankie will tell you it's a yard brush with what do you call it, a jack input on it. I use an Ibanez, and I think it's great, but Frankie brings me back down to earth every time I click the things on the case and open it up. Because what he does is Frankie will let you hear what your direct in sounds like before he does all the magic on it, you know, which is brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It makes me laugh. But no, the bass isn't anything special, but Frankie makes it sound good the other end. Like, give him that.
And have you had that bass the whole time, Shawnee?
No, I bought the bass. It was after the EP. I bought a slightly more expensive bass. Up until that, I'm not too particular in what I use. Like, I'm not a gear head or anything. Like, I use a bass that's 150 quid or something. You know, just give me anything. Nobody listens to the bass anyway.
Hey, excuse your cheap. But who's the gearhead of the band then, lads?
How do you
I don't know if I'm a gearhead. I like
gearhead?
pedals and sounds, but again, I'm not overly particular about what kind of guitar I play. I normally wouldn't pay big money for guitar because I like to abuse them. I kind of come from like punk and hardcore kind of leanings. That was when I was growing up and stuff. So I normally just play the guitars and kind of bother them. And example, the last guitar I bought was like £600 an ESP.
Yeah.
And one day in a nice satin black finish and matte finish and stuff, and I scraped it the first day and chipped the headstock. I hit it off the ceiling. So I won't spend big money on guitars. That being said, I have like a few pedals there, like a Helix pedals, the multi-effects board, which I thought would have been great.
No.
But then Morrow's that old school, so we actually are running PV heads. And to be fair, whenever we did plug in at rehearsals, the sound that comes from the PV head is you're never going to get that with the likes of these pedals and stuff. The pedals are okay for sitting in your bedroom and whittling away in the studio and whatever. But whenever you're out there in rehearsals with a full band, the PV head sounds totally different.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say I'm a gearhead as such, but I collect little bits and pieces, really.
Yeah.
That only leaves you then.
Yeah.
You're the gearhead then.
Yeah, well, I was never known for it, to be fair. But I probably have a more sort of exclusive setup than I've ever had now, you know, the paddleboard, just about everything. I think I'm going to have to start stripping it back, though.
Okay.
Too many buttons and too many things to do is just going to be a distraction, you know.
Okay.
So try not
Anything to go wrong?
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it.
That's
Too many
it.
things to go wrong.
Fucking spot on, Lenny. Okay, track 9, Breed. Great track. Great track. parts I actually skipped over, but we'll get onto that because one of you brought up Breed and I got excited there. Yeah, let's talk about Breed for a minute. I'll just put this to you, like you did hint it with Frankie's work with the kind of maybe putting in a bit of synth and stuff like that. Was there any tracks in the studio that evolved during the production process that surprised you?
I don't know if it was in the studio. This one, the Breathe, it
Struggled.
we had the first half of it sort of written in the studio, rehearsing wise. And I can't say I was a big fan of it. Like, I thought it was a little bit fucking sleepy and so this is shit. So I had to take an entire day off work to fucking write the end section of it. I'm glad to keep picking the solos out. It's not bad for a rhythm player.
I kept plaguing Morrow, plaguing him, saying Breathe has to be on the album. It has to be on because I knew if I kept plaguing him, what he would do the other side of it. So basically, what we had before is the first half of the track. On the studio, when we were jamming it, we had an end section that was way different than what ended up on the album, but it was unfinished and it wasn't really going anywhere anyway. But I knew if I kept plaguing him and saying this could be good, he would take it away, and he basically took it away and got back to the whole second half. Yeah,
which made it good.
Yeah. Jesus.
So I think
that'd be a good example then.
Yeah, so it was one of those songs where I think that's probably the song that struggled the most, maybe to get finished because it maybe had been hanging about for a while, and the guys had thought, no, we don't know what to do with it. And Shawnee said, I thought it was a great tune from the first time I heard the riff. I was going, that is brilliant. So I think
one of those ones, if you can stick with it.
Yeah.
No, it is, but it is a kind of a basic intro to that tune, but it's basic in the way that it has to be for what comes after, to make what after pop,
The only thing is it's basic on maybe the guitars, but the drums are another.
Oh yes,
another dimension on it.
The one, so that's I think at this point that's my favorite track on the album. And again, another really obscure kind of reference point by way of the drums was when I heard it for some reason. Do you remember Shake Your Blood? It was Probot, it was Lemmy and Dave Grohl's.
Oh, for fuck's
sake.
Like yeah,
20,
the old school,
20, yeah. So when it came in, for some reason, and I hadn't thought of Probot in 20 fucking years, this thing came in so that it's almost got that like territory from Sepultura kind of start, you're on the toms and the cymbals, but it's not as complex. It's kind of more driving. And again, playing it was just fucking epic. And the whole way through in the different parts, I love. So to me, I was listening to the album today when I was walking the dog, and when Breathe came on again, I was like, yeah, that's such a tune. It's such a tune.
Yeah, it became one of my favorites actually.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like that's a great example of my question, how it evolved, from just kind of being almost orphaned out of the album, Wow.
That's it. Run to the letter. It was at one point, like,
And if it ever does get it out, and he is playing the guitar solos in that one, because there is no singing the guitar solos, so he is playing the solo for that one.
Okay, the track I skipped over. Right, let's listen to it.
Remember
here's a curveball for you. Is that a track that will make the live set?
I would say
Not early, not in the
Okay,
early
that's
days.
fair enough.
I wouldn't imagine. Strange story though. But if you've ever heard a song that was written in one go, just one take,
That's that.
that was one. There was we'd found it on a demo tape. It had been just jammed out, and the words were just sort of, made up, just noises more than anything. And then we took it in here, and Shawnee wrote the words for it, based on what it sounded like I was saying that way. But it was one take, and all we did was take that original demo and cut parts out of it.
Oh,
it was a fun one to do that, because we had, I don't know what the original demo to that was it 9, 10, 11 minutes long or something?
Probably like it was just a
It
jam.
was years ago as well. It might be the oldest, but
Could be, yeah.
like, apart from Silver, maybe it might be the oldest thing
6
that
years old.
exists. Yeah. So we just spliced it, sort of kind of took all the bits in between, the good bits that were just jamming, as you do in a 9 or 10 minute jam.
There's
We
another
cut
risk.
them out, and it ended up just, we didn't have to do too much maneuvering at all. It's just when we moved the parts in, that was the tune.
Yeah, it was another risk because we changed the guitar tones and everything because we didn't want it to necessarily sound like a metal song. It was
Yeah.
more like a 90s sort of, that era kind of thing. So it was another risk, but it fit in with the narrative of the story, sort of the linear. And yeah, worked out okay.
It's one of my favorite tracks, actually.
yeah.
Actually, yeah.
It's just the emotional impact of it, and I think the album needed that at this stage, because I mean you're rolling in with fucking seriously heavy tunes, and then for that, I think it just sets up the last track perfectly, Well, Reed, of course. Then maybe you should have put Sober second last.
No more of this. No more talk about
yeah.
It's out there.
Okay, title track. We're on to Ghosts, the last track of the album. Fucking brilliant. It's an epic one, lads. It's an epic one. Let's listen to it. Such an epic finish to an album. So, I mean, do you feel, all of you now, that this is the true voice of Machina Kore, or is it just the beginning of something even more experimental?
Yeah, well, like we said earlier, we don't feel restrained. We do have plans maybe later in the year to put out another single because there was a lot of material written. We thought we'd stop at 10 for this one, just for the body of work. But we're aiming to get another single out this year. So pretty much dedicate this whole year to getting all the material out because I think the newer songs that we're planning on putting are more designed for a live environment than some of the ones on. It's just to make up a set, really. Because some of these won't make the set the first time around.
Yeah. Surely you're going to release another single off this though first.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a couple
that's what I
of
was thinking. It'd be a shame if you didn't, like.
Yeah.
one or two actually in the pipeline at the minute. Yeah.
Cool.
So
You're looking at financially filming a video or lyrically wise? I mean, what's your thought process on that? There's plenty of great filmmakers up your neck of the woods as well that hopefully will kind of do it for a cheap.
Well, yeah, we were shooting the video for Sober a long time ago. We were shooting it during, pretty much as we were recording it.
Nice.
But it was in Donegal, so we took ourselves off to there and got ourselves an actor and different things, and we had to revisit it again. Not quite finished, but coming together.
In terms of videos and stuff, we try and do it ourselves, really.
There's no third party.
We have sort of the tool set and the capacity to make a few videos. So we've done the Monster video and we've done the Ghosts of Everest as like a lyric video and stuff. So with the stuff, some of the footage we've got and some of the stuff that we've seen just on that Sober one, it looks pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So we like to do that because we like to have that freedom as well. We look at the overall package as a project. So everything we do is creative, from the album art and the covers and everything's a thought process that goes into it.
It's really
carefully thought out. And same with the videos. We like to have that control and kind of do it ourselves.
It comes across that way, Gary. You'll be glad to know. It does, yeah.
That's good. That's good.
It does. It's really strong.
Sometimes you put things out like that and you don't get the feedback, so you don't really get to hear what people think about it unless it's close friends, and then you're kind of going, "Oh, they just tell me that because they know me." So it's good to hear other people that aren't in your circle kind of giving that feedback. It's good. It's good to hear.
100%, man. Sure, fucking hell, I've been listening and playing metal for like, unfortunately, 40 years now. I'm showing my age, but I can recognize a quality product when it's there, and even the artwork that was done for this, like, is class. It just matches up perfectly with the team, and
I think that's what the purpose of doing that digipack was. We were so happy with the body of work that we've done on it.
Yeah,
we just felt that
deserved it.
Yeah, let's do something special with it and put it out there. So we've done a limited run of the CDs.
Yeah, I would be purchasing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically that's what's funding the next singles as well. It's just the money from off the back of those, which is good. It's good to get it back, and it's self-financed that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, Morrow, now that we've just listened to the whole album, like, what message do you think, or do you want listeners to take away from this album, especially, those that are facing their own emotional Everest, as you could say? Like.
Yeah, I hope it's relatable to a lot of people. I know, especially with the last song, but with the name before it, reading lyrics and things, it can make sense, for people that are lost with all that baggage. And you've got a lot of people make a lot of mistakes, but this album, rather than being all dark, flips that on its head, and we were hoping to make it more positive. It didn't want it to be all sort of doom and gloom. At the end, wanted to give sort of a message that you can get out of this shit, so to speak. So that's Ghosts of Everest. It's about burying all that baggage so you can move on.
Yeah,
Perseverance too, like.
Yeah.
Make it the end. You start whatever you're going through has a start point and an end point. Make it the end, and then tell the next person your story. Maybe it'll help them.
Yes, very, very true. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think that was part of it as well, Richie. I think when Morrow writes the songs and Shawnee and the lyrics, there might be a certain topic that they have in mind, but I get something different out of it, and hopefully other people that are listening to it will get something that they relate to within the songs for themselves, and then just carry on. So I think that's what I enjoy about it, because all four of us, when we were recording the album, all had a journey that we were on in certain capacities. Some of it was tough, and playing this music and writing these songs helped along with it. And hopefully it'll help other people take their own spin on it and see the positive side out of some of the music.
Even Lenny's impact there on the drums, you can feel that emotion through the drums.
Oh, thanks, dude. I mean, as the lad said, there's people. It's a shitty time in the world at the minute. You don't know what way's up or down. But what I loved about this whole thing, when we'd be sitting and we'd be just laughing, my overarching sort of memories of this whole process was just fucking laughing, like with Frankie in the room, watching people create and like blow it out of the park. And just when Morrow was talking about kind of, because it's weird, we were working our way up to Everest. Like it was, I remember walking after hearing the demos. I was walking the dog and going, how the fuck are we playing this? Like this is insane. Like, you know, and it was like, it was always the North Star. We were always getting to that point. And when Morrow said about what the whole thing was about, I love that, because we debunked any cliche of like, you know, heavy hard metal doesn't have to be like, it can be aggressive, yes, but emotions are energy, and positivity is it just, and I'm so pleased that like he can pick that up through the playing, not just in the drums and everything, and the vocals and the guitar playing and the bass playing, because we literally put fucking everything into each of those songs, and the boys, you know, when they were writing them, put it probably even more into that. So all we tried to do was give it the best possible chance to relay what it actually meant, and it was awesome.
And each song was fairly fresh as we approached it, because we were writing it as we went, sort of writing it, finish a song, you know, move on, write the next one, move on, write the next
Yes, it's quite a lyrically and stuff, and musically, it can be quite a heavy album in parts. But going back to what you said, the amount of laughing that went on when they were recording that is over.
When we were working on the songs, like normally we would demo the songs and sort of demo them up here before we sent them out to the studio. And more than one occasion, I was crying at the thoughts of having to play some of this stuff. There was a tear in my eye, I have to say.
And again, Frankie McClay was that lightning rod free, man. I mean,
Absolutely.
Like, okay, I'm going to end it with one or two questions just for the crack, get you thinking. Okay, most underrated metal album of all time. Go. Morrow. Come on. Most underrated metal album of all time.
Fuck, I don't know.
I'll go first.
Go on, Shawnee, go.
Load.
I was going to say Load.
Metallica,
That's
Load.
fuck's sake.
Okay, okay, that's good.
I just love that album to death.
So I was going to say Load.
That's a tough one. I don't know.
That's two of you out the way. Gary. Underrated metal album.
My musical tastes are a bit End of Silence, Henry Rollins.
Wow, holy shit. Yes, I'm a big Henry Rollins fan. Nice one. Jesus
One of my
Christ,
favorite
you pulled
albums
that
of all
out of your
time.
ass, man.
Seen him in '92, backing up the Chili Peppers. It was
Yeah.
Good shout, man. Fucking hell.
Fuck. Okay.
There's nothing coming to my mind.
Go on, give us the trash one, Morrow. Come on, there's plenty of trash albums there that run.
Everything's pretty highly
said
rated
Exodus.
that I think of. Like, I mean, the Fabulous Disaster by Exodus. One
Yeah, that's a classic. Okay, I'll take that off you all day long. Yeah. Okay, the first riff you've ever learned, and is it still in your muscle memory?
Oh, Dancing in the Moonlight for me.
Nice.
I don't know off the bat if I could play it or not, but
Yeah.
2 or 3 goes at it could get it all right. Like,
Cool.
although I'd need to find a different bass because it's not in B.
I think the only one that comes to my mind, I think it was a Wasp. I'm Alive. I think it's the Electric
Oh,
Circus.
fuck it. Electric Circus. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Brilliant.
My first, not riff, but the first track I ever learned on the drums was Sharp Dressed Man by ZZ Top.
Brilliant.
And I used to sneak on to my brother's drum kit when he had it in his room, and I had to play it quiet because it was a vinyl, so I couldn't get it would jump. So yeah, and it's ZZ Top, yeah. I was about 11.
I have that album still on vinyl, Eliminator.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
We had that.
I think the first LP that I ever got was If You Want Blood, You've Got It, AC/DC.
Oh, class.
And I think one of the first riffs that I learned to play was Whole Lotta Rosie off that one, because
Yeah.
it used to be in, let's say clubs now, but it was like underage discos back when we were running about, and we used to play that one, and we used to air guitar it out, and so when I started playing the guitar, that was one of the first riffs that I
Could
learned.
you play it now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
There you go.
Jack will win.
Yeah, with Henry Rollins as well, like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. We're just coming to the end. What's next for Machina Kore in 2025? Can we expect to see an album launch or a live entity in some stage or form before the year ends?
It is something we're looking at now. We do have a few offers on the table, and they're very generous ones at the moment. We are going to be looking at that now and see if the dates suit and how we move forward from there. Like, so can't say too much about it at the minute.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But there is hope that we will
There's potential,
see
yeah.
see live. It deserves a live performance, lads. Be interesting to see your set list on it. I'd be really interested in that. All I can say is from my side, congratulations on making one of the best releases of the year so far in the Irish metal scene.
Cheers,
Thanks so much.
You know,
Means a lot.
it's absolutely incredible. You did us proud, and more strength to you going forward. So you've been listening to Morrow, Shawnee, Eamon and Gary of Machina Kore. Go out, get the album. It's a no-brainer. Buy the CD, be even better because there's a lovely digipack going with it. And crucially, as I always end, support your local metal scene.
Cheers, Richard.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers, lads.